story of Koyasan is the story of Kukai, the founder of Shingon Buddhism, and the man who established the first center here for its teaching and practice in the 9th century. Over the years, the fortune of this city has varied from prosperity to decline, but it has always been revered as a center for spiritual respite by people from all walks of life. At one point in time, there were more than 1,000 temples in Koyasan. Today, the number is about 120, with a population of about 8,000, including 1,000 Buddhist monks. Koyasan was officially incorporated in 1928 as a temple-based town, but its beginning goes back to the year 774 in what is now known as the town of Sensuji on the Japanese island of Shikoku. There, a very special child was born to a provincial governor and his wife. According to legend, his mother became pregnant after dreaming that an Indian sage entered her abdomen. Later in life, after consecration as a Buddhist priest, the child would be known by the name of Kukai. At age 18, he entered the National University of Kyoto to begin his aristocratic and formal education. This did not satisfy him, and he soon left the capital to pursue Buddhism and asceticism under the tutelage of Master Gonzo. He was ordained as a priest at the age of 26, taking the name of Kukai, which means heaven and ocean. In 804, Kukai traveled to China to study the new teaching of esoteric Buddhism. After a long and arduous journey, ravaged by storms at sea, he arrived in the capital of Chang'an to study under a great Chinese master. After only 6 months in China, Kukai became the next disciple, despite being a foreigner. After the death of his master, Kukai returned to Japan to disseminate the teachings of esoteric Buddhism. Before he left, he threw a 3-pronged spiritual implement toward Japan. According to legend, this came to rest in a pine tree on Mount Koya, the site where Kukai eventually established the Center for Esoteric Buddhism, later called Shingon Buddhism. The 3rd generation of pine trees stands at this location, marking the spot where, according to legend, the 3-pronged implement came to rest. Surrounding the tree is the garan, or complex of buildings making up the monastic center. The Great Stupa, or Daito, is perhaps the most beautiful structure in the Garon. It is a symbol of the ideals of Shingon Buddhism, so it is also known as the fundamental Great Stupa. Standing more than 150 feet tall, it was reconstructed in 1937. The Kondo, or Golden Hall, is the first structure built by Kukai and the place where he gave religious talks. Excelling in art, poetry, and calligraphy, he has been referred to as the founder of Japanese culture. Koyasan houses not only treasures of esoteric Buddhism, but several thousand works of art. Many were destroyed in a fire in the Kondo in 1925, including some figures designated as national treasures. Of his many accomplishments, Kukai is credited with inventing the Japanese phonetic alphabet called kana, so that ordinary people could read and write without years of studying the complex Chinese kanji characters. He is also credited with starting the first school lunch program for students from poor families. At the age of 62, on the 15th day of the 3rd month in the year 835, having conveyed his will to his disciples, Kukai entered into a state of deep meditation for 6 days. On the 21st day, he was placed in a cave where he still resides in a state of eternal meditation. In 921, 86 years later, Emperor Daigo posthumously granted him the honorary title Kobo-Daishi, which means the great teacher who promulgates the law. Today, he is still revered by the followers of Shingon Buddhism, which total about 10% of the Japanese population.
And also, perhaps for the people with a skeptical view, it may seem very strange that one who lived almost 1,200 years before can still keep his eternal concentration and watching this world still today. But the reason why such irrational and unscientific belief can still survive in this scientific period in Japan is that still today, many people can experience the encounter with Kukai in the crisis of their lives. And these repeating experiences of encountering Kukai make this irrational belief super rational.
The path to Okunoin, containing the cave in which Kukai rests in a state of eternal meditation, stretches for more than 1 mile through what may be the largest cemetery in the world. Some estimate that over the years, more than 1 million tombstones were erected here. Cryptomeria trees tower over the more than 200,000 tombstones that contain artifacts of both famous and ordinary people. The path is a walk through Japanese history. The tallest tombstone, about 20 feet high, is a memorial for the wife of the second of the Tokugawa shoguns. It took 3 years to build. There are 3 bridges along the way. The first marks the entrance to the path where monks purify their bodies and their minds before continuing. Stop at the middle bridge to unload your troubles so that you can proceed with an unburdened spirit. The third bridge lies just before the entrance to the sacred area of Kukai's shrine. It is known as the Bridge of Ignorance because one leaves the land of ignorance and enters the land of illumination upon crossing the bridge. It is important to enter the sacred area with a pure heart. The Tamagawa stream that encircles Kukai's shrine flows under this bridge. Wooden posts called sotoba are placed in the stream as offerings to those who have died from drownings or miscarriage.
Koyasan has a lot of water. When it rained, the water level has come up and then washed those wooden plates away. The rest of the family's sorrow or the sadness was splashed away into the water. They can recover or conquered from the sorrow.
Just in front of the third bridge is a bronze statue of the deity Jizo, placed above statues of other deities. Worship is by small wooden plaques inscribed with the names of deceased loved ones, which are offered to Jizo for the repose of the souls of the dead. Koyasan is located about 2 hours from the bustling industrial city of Osaka. First founded in the 7th century, Osaka was the site of the first capital of Japan. Osaka has been called the Water City due to the many rivers and bridges which intersect the city. This is the picturesque shopping district around Dotonbori Bridge, containing pedestrian malls lined with shops, theaters, and a complete range of fascinating restaurants. It has been said in Japan that culture and weather come from the West, namely Osaka. For example, the traditional tea ceremony, the art of flower arranging, the performing arts of kabuki and no, all originated and were cultivated in Osaka. Street entertainment includes a traditional hand puppet show. In 1583, Shogun Hideyoshi began the construction of Osaka Castle, which has been destroyed and rebuilt several times during the intervening years. Today, it is Osaka's most significant historical site, containing a history museum and a theater. Travel to Koyasan begins at Namba Station in the heart of downtown Osaka. In contrast to Osaka, which represents 20th century Japan with its tall skyscrapers, modern factories, and time-starved population, the visitor to Koyasan is transported back in time and space to a more serene setting, consistent with the spiritual aura of this unique city. Early pilgrims to Koyasan had to walk more than 10 miles up a steep hill to reach the village gate. But since the construction of the cable car in 1926, the journey has become less arduous. Originally, women were forbidden from entering this monastic center for Shingon Buddhism. Despite the edict of the Meiji government to admit women in 1872, Koyasan rejected the order and did not allow women to enter the city until 1906. Today, men and women, monks and laypeople, Japanese and foreigners, are all welcome to take part in the practice of Shingon Buddhism, or just to absorb the serenity that is the aura of Koyasan. There are no hotels in Koyasan, but visitors, both Japanese and foreign, are welcome in the more than 50 temple lodgings that can be found throughout the city. We stayed at Rengojoin, originally founded in 1190. This lovely temple provides a serene base from which to explore the town. Inside the walls are several gardens set in traditional Japanese styles. The tatami mat rooms contain futons for sleeping, and little else. Delicious vegetarian meals are served in the room or in one of the many private dining areas. A special treat at Rengojoin is the chance to participate in the morning and evening meditation services, and to meet with its chief priest for an informal lecture on Shingon Buddhism. Most visitors to Koyasan are Japanese, who come to experience the serenity of this unique mountain town, which is both the birthplace and sanctuary of Shingon Buddhism. Although Koyasan has received very little attention from the West, I hope that this brief introduction provides you with an insight into its history and a desire to visit this very special travel destination.